Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. So family, I'm trying to set this debate up. So this is what I came up with. One second. Let me get this shared real quick. So first of all, I think this is a good conversation. So all of these people that, all these people are crying about the conversation. I'm telling you that it's a good conversation. It's a good conversation. Can y'all help me share this? Please, 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 please help me share this. Who in the building? Somebody say something in the building. All right, I think that's gonna be good enough. All right. Alim, I'm talking to the people, broski. Let me talk to the people. So anyway, like I said, I think this is a good conversation. And people are all mad and up in arms. And I'm gonna tell you one thing I don't like about this conversation. One thing I don't like about this conversation is the constant embellishment. And the embellishment is to confuse the viewer, is to confuse the observer. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So it's a little guy named Taharka Bey. He was supposed to be debating me at least 3 years ago on the same topic about the infiltration of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the part that the ink played in it, right? Over 3 or 4 years, he's still posting crazy embellishments. Just the other day, he got me blocked. So just the other day, somebody told me or sent me the screenshot that this guy has a laundry list of things that he say I said, and he's debunking them. The problem with that is everything that I've ever said is on video. Why not take the video, put it side by side, and debunk what I said? Much of what Taharka Bey is doing is he's taking something that I said, he's taking it out of context, and he's responding to it. Case in point, he says that I said that first I said Sister Pearl Drew Ali went missing. Then Taharka Bey comes back and says Pearl Drew Ali was kidnapped. Let's take this case for example. So what I said was there is a report that she went missing and they don't know what happened to her. Then I follow up and I said most likely because of the times and what was going on, they grabbed her because Temple number 9, and I could have used the word kidnap, but it's in the same context that Temple number 9 was the ground zero for the takeover. Temple number 9 was headed by her family. So if she would go missing and she is not from Chicago, the only alternative is that her family would remove her out of the picture. Now, whether I say missing, kidnap, or disappear, it's in the same context. And then I will go on to prove that she was out of the picture for a long time. Where was she? Only Allah knows where she was at. Only Allah knows. But we do know that she went missing and we didn't hear from her. She wasn't in any records. She wasn't in any meetings. She wasn't in any, we didn't see anything. Until maybe, and I could be wrong, and I don't mind being corrected, maybe the 60s, 70s, or 80s. And when she passed for him. Maybe. And this is a fact. And I will prove that. So, anything that he says I said, he's taking out of context and he's debating himself. Not debating me. He's debating himself. And it's a whole laundry list. So tonight I'm going to go down this list, and I'm going to just for the sake of, to promote my next presentation, I'm going to just show you how this guy is totally embellishing. Totally embellishing. But I'm going to tell you what's going on. What they're trying to do is the ink ship is sinking. The ink is running out. They're running out of ink. That's the new campaign. They're running out of ink. The ink is running out. And so as the ship sink, instead of jump off the ship, they're trying to put band-aids on these holes in the ship and trying to keep the people on the ship. Listen. This is insane that one will go this far to defend a lie with total embellishments. But the members are looking at this now. So a lot of what you see now from Sharif, from Taharka Bey, and from all of these people, Daryl Bey or whomever in the ink, what you're seeing now is they're trying to save what they can. They're not trying to teach true history to the unsuspecting public. They're not trying to teach true history to innocent Moors that never heard of the history, that could care less about the history and show how important the history is. They're not trying to do that. They're trying to save those. Everybody share this for me. They're trying to save those that's on the ship. And they putting in the ship of the ink. And they putting band-aids on these holes, but the ship is going down. And it's going down, it's sinking fast. You see? And so this is why Taharka Bey will make a stupid suggestion, and I call it stupid because it's preposterous, that he would say, so if we don't have minutes from 1929 to 34, then we don't exist. And Sharif make the same claim. Then we don't exist. Well, what about the prophets meeting from 25 or 1913 to 1928? Where are those minutes? This is how they shuffle in the deck. In fact, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, from the time of the first annual convention, is where we're marking the completion of the organization. And the first annual convention shows that there was a power put in place by Prophet Noble Drew Ali and positioned in place by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and that was Emil. Now, from that first annual convention, we see minutes, for the most part, for the first time. We see a convention flyer. We see a convention program, which means there was activity. So if you are in operation as the Moorish Science Temple of America, we should see official activity from 29. We don't have to see official activity from 1913 to 1928 because that is not the beginning of the first annual convention. So they shuffle in the deck. They're shuffling the deck. We're talking about minutes that relates to transfer of power. The first installation of power was from Prophet Noble Drew Ali installing Emil. Emil reestablished the Supreme Grand Council. So we're talking about the installation of power. We're talking about temple business. We're talking about temple business starting from the convention, not from 1913. But with that say, well, you ain't seen minutes from 1913. Nah, you're not going to be able to shuffle the deck. And for people that don't know, they would say, oh, yeah, there's no minutes from 1913. We're not talking about that. We're talking about official business from the convention forward. That's all we're talking about. Anything before that, I'm not into that conversation because that wasn't what I proposed. I proposed that if you are leadership from Prophet Noble Drew Ali 1929 to 1934, then show me you operating. That was the proposal. You can't show me that. So now you try to move the goalpost. So all of these things that Sharanyo Bey put up, half of the stuff I didn't say, or he's taking them out of context and not even quoting me correctly. Now, so here's what I propose. They want to go on Doggy Diamonds. Doggy Diamonds is my brother. That's my friend. You know what I'm saying? But with all due respect to my brother and my friend, Doggy Diamonds is not a Moorish American, and this is a Moorish American conversation. This is a Moorish American conversation. So I need Moorish Americans. Let me show you the difference. This crazy guy, T. Berry Bay, who caping for Tariq, man. You should cape. I hope you cape for your wife like you cape for Tariq. Sharif. That's right. He's just like a Tariq. I hope you cape for him. I hope you cape for your wife like that, because you're ridiculous. With that being said, he says that, oh yeah, we're going to do it like Reggie. Let me show you the difference. Sanetta against the Moors, or Reggie against Sharif, both of them had a horse in the race. Sanetta put Reggie up to debate Sharif. So of course it could happen on Sanetta's platform, because Sanetta got a horse in the race. Of course. Now, the Doggy Diamonds thing is this. Most people don't know the Moorish conversation. It doesn't matter. I will drag them on any platform, but Doggy Diamond is my brother. Leave Doggy up out of it. In fact, since you say I've been saying your names and I've been building your algorithms, why don't we just build your platform? Let's do it on your platform. Let's do it on Sharif Bey YouTube page. Let's do it on Ali's Men YouTube page. Let's do it on Moorish American, the Voice of Moorish American YouTube page. Let's do it on Temple 11 YouTube page. And let's help build your YouTube page. If this interests people, they're going to come. You're going to get new subscribers if this interests, and it's all on your platform. Huh? It's all on your platform. It's not on mine. If I do it on mine, I will upload it later. If I can simulcast it, but it'll be I'll hit your link and we'll do it on your platform. You can build your campaign. Come on. What better way? Why you want to build another platform that is not Moorish when you got the opportunity to build yours? You can embarrass me on your platform. If people are interested, they are going to come, they are going to subscribe, and guess what? They might even join the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. See, the thing is, we ain't going to turn this into a horse and pony show because you believe that you're going to do it on Moorish World TV and it'll turn into a horse and pony show. I'm of the thought that my brother, Doggy Diamonds, doesn't have a horse in the race. Therefore, let's do it on a Moorish platform. In fact, we can do it on Moors in America. How about that? Moors in America. We can do it on Moors in America. How about that? It's a brother out of I bet you he'll host it. How about Moors in America? How about that? Keep it on a Moorish platform. It's a Moorish conversation. Moors in America. We ain't got to do it on yours. We ain't got to do it on mine. I'll upload it later. But let's do it on Moors in America. Press 7 if y'all agree with that. Y'all know about Moors in America, the brother out of Ohio? Let's do it on that platform. What's up? What's up? What's up? But we don't need to take it outside of a Moorish construct. Like I said, Doggy Diamond's my bro. That's my man's. I ain't putting Doggy Diamonds in the middle of this. That's my man's. He don't have a horse in a race. But the brother with Moors in America, what's up? See, we can do away with all this chitter chatter. You tell me, oh no, we only want dog and diamonds. No, you put things out there that you know I'm gonna disagree with because of my principles. My principle is that this is a Moorish American conversation. And if people are interested, they will come. This is a Moorish American conversation. What's up? What's up? Pick 3 items that you can disprove that I put out. And I will substantiate exactly what I said. I will give the information that you think you can debunk, but you have to debunk it. You have to debunk it. What about that? Don't be talking, bring your receipts and debunk it. Because the only thing y'all been doing lately is talking. I haven't seen any of y'all bring any receipts. Even the long list that Sereno Bey embellished about. He haven't brought one receipt. He said, oh, Taharka Bey said this, and we proved that. Where? When? In fact, let's up the ante. I debate you and Sereno Bey at the same time. Let's up the ante. Let's up the ante. I debate you and Sereno Bey at the same time. At the same time. Let's up the ante. And we can do it on Moors in America. Stop talking. And T-Berry Bey, stop capping. Stop caping. Cape for your wife. Stop caping for men. Because yesterday, the brother T-Berry Bey said, I'm over this conversation. I'm not in this conversation. I'm over this conversation. But soon as Hannibal L posts that we can debate this on an ink platform, here he come with a long list of stuff. Now, the thing is, either you in the conversation or you out of the conversation. But T-Berry Bey, don't be in the conversation 1 minute and out of the conversation another minute, because now you're acting like you of the Rainbow Coalition, bro, and I'm going to call you on it. I'm going to call you on it. Because I'm going to tell you, that's real sweet of you. That's real sweet of you that you tell me and you tell everybody, I'm out of this conversation. But the moment that somebody posts something about the conversation, you right up in the conversation. That's real sweet of you. That's real sweet of you. That's right. Matter of fact, I see Eastel on here. I debate Sharif, Eastel, and Sereno Bey at the same time. Because they just talking. They just talking. All they doing is posting. They posting conversation. They posting conversation. They're not putting any receipts to their conversation. They're saying I said this. They taking what I said out of context. It's like Sarnetta used to do with Brother Bashir. He'll take a sound bite. And then said, oh, this is what he meant. No. The difference between me and them, when I took the pieces of Sharif video on New York Podcast, I put the link of the whole video in the description section. So anybody can see that I'm not taking what they say out of context. But what they do is, they said, Taharka Bey said this. And we disproved that. You ain't disproved nothing. You're sitting up here embellishing. You're trying to save the ship, but the ship is sinking. It's sinking fast, fam. It's sinking fast. And I'm going to tell you, y'all going to keep talking. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just put the Moab in the hull of the ship. I'm going to put the Moab in the hull of the ship. Keep talking. Keep playing with me. Because I got the goods to put the... Let me tell you something. The brother put up information that the Secretary of State recognized them as the Moorish Science Temple of America. We can debate that too. We can debate, does that make you the Moorish Science Temple of America? We can debate that too. You want to debate that point? If the Secretary of State recognized you as the Moorish Science Temple of America, does that make you the Moorish Science Temple of America? There's a topic. There's a topic. We can get into the legalities of it. Let's get into the legalese of it. Let's get into it. We can debate that too. Listen to me. Any topic is on the table for debate. With me, anything that I say, I stand on. So Doggy Diamonds is off the table. A Moorish platform, listen, a Moorish platform. You ain't got to come to Moorish World TV. You ain't got to come to Moorish World TV. Let's go to Moors in America. How about that? Should I call them up? Let's go to Moors in America. Let me see if I can call them up. Aleem, you okay? All right, hold up. Let me see if I can call Brother Moors in America up. Let me see if I can call him up. Anybody got Moors in America number? Somebody tag the brother from Moors in America in this post. Yeah, let Moors in America host the debate. How about that? Tremaine Dukes Bay, you know Moors in America? Let him host the debate. How about that? Huh? See, this is the thing in a nutshell. Y'all been embellishing way too much, trying to save yourself. And what you gonna do is push me to the point where as though the car of Jaggernaut is just gonna tip over. The car of Jaggernaut is just gonna tip over. Those members that's drunk on those idle wines, those members that's drunk on them idle wines, they're about to flee. Y'all should just leave me be, because I'm gonna tell you, when I do this next presentation, let me tell you something. Is my thing clear? Aleem, keep it down for 1 second. Listen, when I do my next presentation about the book on the prophet from Hopkins Bay, many people gonna get mad about that because they love the soft-spoken grand sheik who don't bother anybody. But let me explain something to you. When we're dealing with information, we're not dealing with personalities. That's number one. We're not dealing with personalities. We're dealing with information. We're dealing with historical accuracy. We're not dealing with personality. So when, like a person like T-Berry Bey is in love with the personality of a Sharif Bey, he will say anything and even get mad because I am adjusting Sharif Bey and correcting information because he's in love with the personality or even in love with the man. I don't know. So the same thing is going to happen when I address the misinformation, and I will rubber stamp the good information put out in that book about the prophet written by Brother Hopkins Bey. But here is the caveat to it all. Not until recently, I've been doing these presentations for over 3 or 4 years. At least 3. Minimum 3. I've been doing these presentations. You have never seen, ever before, the floodgates open on how the ink is now even the worst of the member as it relates to being in the know and scholarship have something to say. Even the worst of them. I mean, they so far out of the loop that they couldn't even talk about Prophet Noble Drew Ali from 1913. Couldn't talk about Prophet Noble Drew Ali in 1913 as well as talk about him in 1928 or 29. They don't even know the difference. I mean, they so far out of the loop. But I say this. It's amazing how many people have coming out the woodwork in 2023 and 2024. So that is an indication that it's a body situation. It's not me disagreeing with a Sharif no more. It's me back to the basics of that this whole body has been in cahoots to offset the prophet's mission. The whole body. Now, for members in that body, for those who joined it because they genuinely was interested in familiarizing themselves with the prophet organization, I'm not putting you in that. You have nothing to do with this conversation. This conversation is completely administrative. This conversation has nothing to do with those who have read the Holy Quran and thought that was the Moorish Science Temple of America. This conversation has nothing to do with those that read about the prophet in Moorish literature or wherever you heard about him at, from Taj Tariq, and you went to look for the Moorish Science Temple of America and you found that and thought that was the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is not for you. I hold you to be sincere in your efforts of trying to find yourself and uplift your people. This is not for you. This is for the administrative effort to keep from you and the public the true history of what happened to the Moorish Science Temple of America and why the Moorish Science Temple of America as an ideal, as an organization that was looked upon and continues to be looked upon as the second stepchild of what we call the conscious community, the liberation community, or for the uplifting of our people. Like we looking like a stepchild out here. You follow what I'm saying? We're looking like a stepchild out here. And it's not because of the faithful Moorish American. It's because of this administration that's convinced the public that they are the Moorish Science Temple of America. But their agenda is not consistent with the Prophet Noble Ali's Moorish Science Temple of America. It's just not consistent. It's not consistent at all. And I'll break that down. I'll break that down. You know what I mean? So I just want people to know that the true faithful members that went that way because they felt in their heart that that was the Moorish Science Temple of America, because they seen nothing else. This ain't for you, you know. See, originally, I thought, hey, I was going to debate Cyrus L. Cyrus L did so horrible in his response that I was like, he definitely can't debate. Then Sharif, which is the grand champion of debating because he debated a short bus guy and did a wonderful job, i.e. Reggie. And I thought he was amazing. But you know, hey, when you double back and you really check, you be like, oh, man. And you really listen. It was like when I first heard Polite, I thought Polite was the truth. But after I slowed down the ethers and begin to listen, I'm like, oh, man. And with Sharif is such a great orator. He can articulate his manipulation so well that it appears to be truth. See, and this is the difference between myself and a Sharif Anil Bey. I'm going to articulate the evidence. I'm just not going to articulate a response without evidence. The ink has mastered the Masonic Freemasonry parlor trick. They will articulate without receipts. Sharif Anil Bey come on the platform, right? New York podcast, and he says that something about, Aline, hold on. He says something about the Canaanite temple. I debunked the Canaanite temple. He says nothing else. He says nothing else. Anything that I debunk that they put out, they'll go to another conversation. Oh, he was at the ink, what's the newest one? Oh, he was at the ink convention, smiling it up. Let me break this down to you. Before I went on this campaign to teach people the truth about the history of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I was of the thought that Moors need to come together. I was of that thought too. The elders that I was with actually took that trip to that convention. I could care less. I didn't even want to be into Chicago that year. The elders took us there. I could have cared less. I could have cared less anyway. But the elders that I was under, they were convinced that Moors need to come together like most Moors believe today. And so I actually went on a campaign seeing if I could help bring Moors together. And I did it by example. I frequent Philadelphia from Baltimore with my camera promoting Temple number 11 and Brother Hopkins Bey, because I believed that this was what needed to be done. To promote unity, I believed in my heart that this needed to be done. Every time Temple number 11 had an event, I was there. I advertised it by interviewing Hopkins Bey on Moorish World TV. I seen him as a scholar, just off of sheer efforts that they was putting in. I went to all temples. Brother Mullins Bey, I went to Temple 19, not to try to creep in, not to discredit them, because I was seeking brotherhood and unity. I thought that was the way. I went to my brother Yusuf Baynam for the Moorish American National Republic. I went to their convention. I go to the resurrection. I believed in my heart what the elders was telling me, that Moors need to come together. And if man know, he must be what he know. And I was being what I know. But what I would find in every temple, they wasn't about unity. Most of them was about you uniting with them. That's what it was about. That's what it was about. When I went to the Moorish American, and not Temple number 19, but when I went to the Moorish American National Republic, they tried to sell me on the idea that I had to get with them in order for my nationality to be legit. When I went to the Brotherhood rally with the ink, the moderator, the Grand Advisor, Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator, R. Jones Bey, say we are the only Moorish Science Temple of America. We are the real Moorish Science Temple of America. Go to the Secretary of State. Anybody out here can check it out. It was brothers from Unity Temple. It was brother from Temple 19. It was brother from Baliel, myself. It was brother from all different parts of the Moorish world. And he stood up and said that. No different than what Sharanyo Bey posted just yesterday. Temple number 19 in Atlanta, Georgia, puts out a newspaper. Sharanyo Bey says there's only one Science Temple of America newspaper, and it's ours. So if you want a newspaper, and then he put the link underneath. See, y'all don't pay attention to this stuff. Obviously, I do. I understand that they don't want unity, because if they accept unity, they have to admit the lie. They have to admit the changing of the structural operational process of the Moorish Science Temple of America. They have to admit it, because too many people within other factions know enough to know that that ain't what the prophet demonstrated. And they will be questioned on it. They don't want unity. Sharif Bey is friends with Haru Narisiel just to monitor Haru. He already told you he's a soldier. He got a video. He says, I'm a soldier for the movement. That means he's a robot. He's going to take orders. He's not going to resist even if he knows the truth. He's a cult follower. They're only there to monitor you. Let Haru Radiciel say, you know what? We're going to do our own thing. We're not getting mixed up in this conversation. Brother, to your way be mine, to my way be yours. I see things different. I love you. But I just want to focus on what we're doing here in Atlanta. I'm not into all of that other stuff. I'm going to get young people, young women, older people, all of that in Atlanta and build this paradigm in the name of the prophet of the way that I understand it. I'm not getting into all this other stuff. To your way be yours. I guarantee you he become an enemy of the state. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And if you do anything, you're going to get a cease and desist letter. If they think that you're weak enough, to respond favorable to their cease and desist, they'll send you one. But as long as Haru Reniciel is chummy chum, friendly, basically can do what you want without any obstruction because they're going to monitor you. Now, speaking of Haru, I don't want to bring him into the conversation and bring him under the hot seat of anything that's going on because he's a peaceful brother and he's doing his own thing. However, the point that I'm making is I'm using the situation right there with Sharanyo Bey just did because it just happened to show and prove that whether it's Haru, whether it's Edwardsell, whether it's any other Moorish group, Rasadiel, Braswell Bay, it doesn't matter. They either monitoring you or they're going to fake friends with you. If they can't be friends with you, they are going to monitor you. And that's just what it is. They're just going to monitor you. And so at the end of the day, most people got to take this and save themselves. You got to take it and save yourself. Because if you don't do that, you're going to spend time spinning your wheels, wasting your time trying to unite with people who have no intentions of uniting. That is not in the playbook. That's not in the playbook. Because the moment that they unite with you and you honor Emeliel and they don't honor Emeliel, the unity breaks down. The unity breaks down. I remember going to Temple number 11 in Philadelphia, and Hopkins Bey was on my camera that I was recording, and he gave honor to Emeliel. He reached out to me a few days later asking me, can I take the video down? He asked me, could I take the video down because it's causing confusion within the administration? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? And I took the video down. Because again, I thought that we were going to work towards a good unified effort to move Moors forward. And 5 years later, we haven't moved the needle an inch. You know what I'm saying? We haven't moved the needle an inch. I mean, I can hear you, bro. We haven't moved the needle an inch. We haven't moved the needle an inch. So what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Anything that I say, Sharif already know that it's true. He's going against it right now because he's a soldier. Hopkins Bey knows that it's true. He's not going to say anything because of the image that he's built and the position that he holds. Know what I mean? The prophet's appointed GS is causing confusion. but at the end of the day, family, if you are a true Moorish American, right, and I mentioned this in Holy Day last night, if you are a true blue Moorish American, if you will, true red, whatever you want to call it, if you are a true Moorish American, right, when you look at the stories in our Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or in any historical text, you would notice that the person of discussion dealt with things that was right there. You understand what I'm saying? So let me give you the case in point. When Jesus was teaching the people in Katak, and they was talking about the carjacking off, right? Jesus wasn't teaching from a book of ancient time of how to correct yourself in life. No, he said, look, a car with no spirit, no altar fires passes by. And I'm paraphrasing. He was dealing with circumstances of the day to teach the people the right way to go in that day. All throughout our Quran, you will see that John is addressing, one more second, Aline. Keep it down. One more second. I gotta finish this thought. Me and Aline gonna get us some snacks on the low. Anyway, when you deal with John, right? John was dealing with situations that was happening in real time. He was using examples of people in real time. Jesus was using examples of people and situations in real time. That's why people got so mad at him. The moment that we walk in the footsteps of John, Jesus, or the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, people get mad at you. They want us to talk about Jesus of 2,000 years ago and not practice that Jesus in real time. They don't want us to look at the confusion in real time. They want to look at the confusion of yesterday. You see? But the confusion of yesterday is happening today, but who's going to address it? Who's going to address it? I am. Because it haven't been addressed. This play along, get along stuff, if any prophet would have thought like that, we would not know anything about how to achieve paradise in the heart of the mind of man. We would not know how to do it because there will be no challenges. There will be no challenges. All prophets all prophets challenge that which they were confronted with in real time. They didn't hold hands, play along to get along. They confronted the problem head on. And you can read about any prophet of the past. They was confronting problems head on. And that's what we must do. And that's what we must do. He said, let me read this. He said, when I asked Saranyo Bey is causing division by saying they are the only MSTFA, I was told the situation is like McDonald's and McDowell's. We all are McDonald's, and there you go. And so we can approve. So now what you got here, let me tell you what you got. What you got is a group of Moors that they are really McDowell's because they don't know what McDonald's look like. They don't know what McDonald's look like. They are the Moors on the low road because of what they demonstrate. That right there, Mullins Bay, that's a McDowell demonstration. That's a McDowell demonstration. To call everybody else McDowell's, but don't prove that you McDonald's. Just pull up a Secretary of State paper. Well, debate the Secretary of State paper. That's all. Debate that. Listen, the whole thing in a nutshell is this, and I'm going to wrap it up with this. I'm going to do a presentation tonight on the laundry list that Saranyo Bey put out because it's just so bogus. It's ridiculous. But it give me a chance to promote if Sharif want to debate me on Moors in America. It give me a chance to promote the coverage of the book that Hopkins Bey put out. And we'll go from there. But let me say this. Family, whenever you watch this discussion, always pay attention to the fluff talk. Most of the talk on the ink side is only talk. Taharka Bey said this, and he said this, but we proved that. It's all flapping of the gums. I go, this is what he said, this is what he present, this is what I present. I give you the visuals, I give you the audio, I give you side-by-side representation. I don't give you just fluff talking conversation about what someone said. Nor do I take what someone say and say, well, he said this and we proved that wrong. It's honorary and honor, two different things. We need to have a conversation about comprehension and language. I mean, all those silly distractions. No. What you do is prove that you existed from 1929 to 1934. Show evidence that Kirkman Bey had leadership from 1929 to 1934. And don't give me the goofy argument that just because there ain't no minutes don't mean that we didn't exist. Because after 1934, y'all got records. So if you existed, then you should have consistent records before 1934. That's the basis of the argument. We can deal with how you got into, we can deal with how you got at the Secretary of State. We can deal with that too. But let's first deal with that you existed from the time of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali to 1934. Let's deal with that. And if you can't deal with that, then every other argument that you put forth is a straw man argument. It's a worthless argument. Because if you cannot show and prove your existence from 1929 as claimed on your website, there's no way any argument, any other argument makes sense. No other argument makes sense after that. Show us that you exist. In fact, I give you one better. Show me the year that you began to be recognized at the Secretary of State, because it wasn't 1929. We can get into that too. Why, if you are recognized at the Secretary of State, why it didn't happen in 1929? Why didn't it happen in 1930? Huh? Why is it that Temple number 11 date their existence back to the time of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when in fact they didn't get acknowledgement on paper, like y'all like to talk about that paper, until the 1940s? Why is it, let me save some of that for the next conversation, but they didn't get acknowledgement to the 1940s according to paperwork? What happened to the extension of the non-breaking line of temple business? So again, pick 3 things that you think I'm wrong about, and we can debate it on Moors in America. This is a Moorish American conversation. You ain't got no problem with the brother from Ohio. I ain't got no problem with the brother from Ohio. There you go. I don't think you have a problem. Family, if you are in the building, do you think it's fair to have this Moorish conversation on a Moorish platform and not on Moorish World TV? Because apparently my influence is so strong that they can't get a fair shake. Wouldn't it be fair to have this debate on a Moorish American platform? Build a Moorish American platform. Don't build a hip-hop platform. Don't build a Black Power platform. Build a Moorish American platform. Do it on Moors in America. Do it on one of the Inc. platforms. Do it on the Voice of Moorish America. Build that up, since you can beat me in the debate. Do it on Ali's Men platform. That place is a graveyard. Do it on Sharif's platform. That stuff is a graveyard. Do it on the Temple 11 platform. Build up the Moorish platform. And if people want to see it, they're going to come. But we're not building up a hip-hop platform that's already built. We're not building up a Black Power platform that's already built. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So let's, I'm going to continue to teach. I'm going to continue to break down the history. And if you want to debate it, there you go. There you go. Because right now, all I hear is lies and embellishments. I don't see no truth. I don't hear near bit of truth coming from these people that claim to be in the holy and divine movement. I don't hear any truth. I hear lies and embellishments. I didn't see one item to debunk what I've said. And I'm not talking about the commentary that I put out. I'm talking about the receipts. I've put enough receipts out that you can grab one to debunk it. Just grab one. Forget my commentary. Forget what I say about Pearl duality. Forget all my commentary. Just grab one receipt and debunk it. It's impossible. Debunk what I said about the Canaanite temple, about Prophet Noble Ali being a Mason. Show me something. Let me tell you something about that, family. This conversation about the Prophet Noble Ali being a Mason should have been put to rest. Here's why. Number one, Prophet Noble Ali was hated by Moors and the public alike. Wouldn't you think if the Prophet Noble Ali was out front exposing Masonic, Freemason, Shriner secrets, that somebody would have exposed him by now, saying you was one of us? Here is your membership card. Wouldn't they have pulled his tongue out? Figuratively? Up in the black belt of Chicago, there was nothing but Masons and Shriners and Odd Fellows. If he was exposing their secrets because he was a member, wouldn't somebody, after all this time, would have known what temple he was, what lodge he was a part of? We know that the priest was in the lodge, and we know what lodge he was a part of. In fact, it wasn't even a bad thing to be in a lodge back then. People told you what lodge they was in. It wasn't even a bad thing. It wasn't. And somebody as popular as Prophet Noble Ali, you mean nobody? I can tell you many other people lodges that was around Prophet Noble Ali with receipts right now. But nobody pulled a receipt on Prophet Noble Ali's lodge. Only speculation. He's giving up all the Shriner secrets. He's giving up all the Freemason secrets. But nobody gave him up. And it wasn't even a bad thing to be in a lodge back then. And it's not a bad thing to be in the lodge right now. The argument is not against the lodge. The argument is that it was people in the lodge at that time that sought to overthrow Prophet Noble Ali with the European lodge members. The argument is that once the Moorish Science Temple of America was established by the Prophet Noble Ali, we didn't need none of those things anymore. Because everything that we need, the Prophet gave it to us. That's the argument. That's the argument. The argument is we don't need the repackaged Egyptian science, the biblical metaphors and allegory rituals, when the Prophet gave us our own. That's the argument. The argument is not against Freemasonry. That's their thing. The argument is when you proclaim your nationality, when you become a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you begin the upward climb towards your divine self. And there is no more divine self than understanding that the seed of Allah within you, and you possess all truth. What do we need it for? Anyway, that's what I'm saying. The Prophet Noble Ali. So those who are not a part of the temple has nothing. I'm not tripping off of that with Freemasonry. That's a leg of their journey. Listen, everybody got different places that they got to venture into to get to where they need to go. Some people have to go to the lodge to get to the next level. Some people don't. But once you get with a divine prophet, there is no need to be under a man with a title called prophet or under a man with a title of most worshipful master. There is no need for that anymore. The problem is that most sheiks that claim to be in the Moorish Science Temple of America haven't taught the people the deeper lessons in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So people got to venture out and try to grab something that they're not getting in the Moorish Science Temple of America. The good thing is about what we do in the Moorish Science Temple of America Noble Temples, we teach the science in the fullest, purest essence of what it represents and represented during the time of the Prophet and before the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the sciences of our ancestors that supersedes the remix that the European gave us. That's what we teach in the Noble Temples. And anybody in the Noble Temples or anybody who visited will tell you, we do not surface the information. We pull the information as it is, and we expound upon it and unfold it as it should be, so it can bring out the God in us, and the God in us can overpower the lower self in us. And we can see through the facade. We can see through the carnal dress up of truth. We can see through it. But most people can't. So with that being said, family, I got to go because Aline waiting for me. We got to go get our snack. So anybody see the brothers, listen, they can make all the comments they want. Keep them focused. Keep them on task. Prove that they existed between 1929 and 19, because now the conversation has taken on a Masonic politic. They talking about everything. They done called Brother Hannibal ill. You ain't got no hair on your face. Sharif said, he said about me, it was a funny one. I like that one. I wish I would have thought of it first because I get mad. I use that one too. He said, you go to the zoo to watch the monkeys. You don't play with the monkeys or something like that. I like that one. You know, Sharif always had a good one-liners, you know what I'm saying? But all of that goes away from the conversation. They start talking about Pearl Drew Ali. They start talking about all sorts of stuff, you know what I mean? But they miss to rectify that they did not exist in 1929 to 1933. They failed to recognize that Kirkman Bey was not officially appointed into any position. They failed to recognize that if you call the honorary appointment of Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator by Emilio as an official appointment, then you have to honor the official retraction. You have to honor if you honor that, then you got to honor the retraction. And then another Mason politic. Sharif says on the show, well, okay, here we go. Now look, if Emilio made him Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator in 1929, and he didn't rescind it till 1930, then who was, hold up. My phone about to die. Who was the leader between 29 and 30? He says, so who was the leader between 29 and 30? I said, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So now I got to double back and explain that he rescinded it immediately after convention. He revoked the credentials immediately. But he did not rubber stamp it until the following convention when business was in session. Emilio was still running the Moorish Science Temple of America from 1929 to 1930, and then he has the 1930 convention to prove it. So that straw man embellishment of an argument. Well, if he appointed if he appointed him Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator from 1929, he didn't rescind it until 30, then that shows, well, who was running the organization? And Mullins Bay said, didn't Meliel also expel him from the organization? Not only did E. Meliel expel him, E. Meliel expelled everybody that was in the coup. I showed a piece of the letter. He expelled everybody in the coup. So if E. Meliel has the power to give you a title of any kind and sanctioned by the grand body, that same source has the power to take it. Listen, E. Meliel was the man. He did make a grave mistake. No, he didn't make a grave mistake. You got to understand, the prophet appointed E. Meliel. E. Meliel is not the prophet. But we get to look at the things that E. Meliel did so we can see things more clearly today. See, you got to understand the wisdom of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. The wisdom of the prophet Noble Drew Ali, he gave his life as a willing sacrifice. And everything that those that the prophet Noble Drew Ali appointed, he appointed them for an express purpose so we can know how to better move today. Without those things that happen, see, the prophet Noble Drew Ali is a prophet. He was divinely prepared and sent to this earth. You see what I'm saying? He said the Moors with him at that time didn't know what he was doing. See, we're supposed to look back at that, and then we're supposed to move properly today. But we refuse to look back so we can move properly today. What E. Meliel did can be rectified today. We got to remember the prophet gave his life as a willing sacrifice. He willingly put things in place so we can be better informed today. So we can be better informed today. So we can make sure that when all the pliant pieces of the Moorish Science Temple of America is breathed on by holy breath, that it's a temple that never be destroyed. I mean, it will never be destroyed. That's the whole thing. When people like Jesus give his life as a willing sacrifice, he had to go down the thorny path. He had to do that so you know exactly what you're up against. It's not a surprise no more. They give their life as a sacrifice for the pattern for the sons of men. You should be able to see the Pharisees of Jesus' time, this time. You should be able to see the opposition of Prophet Noble Drew Ali of yesterday, today. You should be able to see that. And when you see that, you're supposed to be a part of the building process of the temple of perfected man. But we want to play along to get along. We're not doing what our forefathers did. We're not doing what Jesus did. Questioning those right in the vicinity that wish to do him harm. We're not questioning the ones that John questioned. We're not questioning. We just think that Moors need to come together and everything gonna be all right. Well, family, you can never come together under a lie. You can never come together under a lie. If you are in any Moorish Science Temple of America of any faction, if the foundation is based on a lie, it's only a matter of time when somebody gonna come and pull the rug from underneath of you. It don't make a difference if it's 2 years, 10 years, or 100 years. Because this is a holy and divine movement, it must be moved in the manner of holy and divine. And if your foundation is on sand, when the water comes, it's going to wash it away. And that's what you see happening to the ink right now. They're not trying to, all of their posts is not trying to teach the public the truth. They're trying to save those that are still holding on that they are the real Moorish Science Temple of America. That's all they're trying to do. Because they have no truth with it. They're trying to make sure that their public image is not so tarnished that they can't even show their face in public. But I think the best thing would be is just to ignore Taharka Bey. But I guess when the truth is on board, if you ignore it, it might could be more damage than you trying to embellish and redirect people to an embellished truth. That's my saying, embellished truth. But with that being said, family, I see y'all tonight on Moorish World, the MSTFA Noble Temple podcast channel. And we're going to break down this Serrano Bay list. Remember, I'm going to reach out to Brother Moors in America. I'm going to see if he want to take that challenge. We're not doing this on a non-Moorish platform. There's no need to. I'm not going to help build something already built. We ain't got to do it on my platform. Pick 3 items. Let Sharif pick 3 items that he disagree with. Let's go to Moors of America and let's have a timed debate, a professional debate. Let's get a neutral moderator. Don't nobody have to say who's the winner, who's the loser. Just let people keep it in the comment section, and we can go like that. That's it. But other than that, I'm gonna continue teaching the history. I'm gonna continue to break it down. And I tell y'all, if y'all are supporters of the truth, please don't go for the red herring when people start talking about, look at his big eyes. Oh my goodness, look at the boogie in his nose. Oh man, he can't be a Grand Sheik. He just farted. Don't go for the red herring. Stick with the facts. And the facts is that Kirkman Bey was not the leader or the head or the central authority of the Moorish Science Temple of America from 1929 to 1933 or 34. That's the facts of the matter. The facts of the matter is that they did not get into the Secretary of State in 1929. That's the fact of the matter. Why? Why? Who was recognized as the Secretary of State in 1929? It wasn't them. And then we can get into the conversation. Are they the Moorish Science Temple of America that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left us? Because they do own the certificate at the Secretary of State level? No, they're not. No, they're not. He just farted, LOL, if it's known by the members. So Governor Howard Bey, please share this. Let me go on with my day. And before I get in trouble, me and Lean supposed to be going out. Right, Lean?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You want to say Islam to the Moors?
Islam.
Say Islam to the Moors.
Islam.
Put the deuces.
That I did.
Put the deuces. All right, peace.
Play my Nintendo Switch.
You gonna do what?
Play my Nintendo Switch.
You gonna play your Nintendo Switch? All right, peace. Let's go, man. I talk too much. Let's go. All right, thank you for being patient, Aline.
Yeah, you do actually.
Hey!
You actually do talk too much.
Aline, bro. Anyway, peace and love, family. See y'all tonight on the Moorish Science Temple of America Noble Temples podcast on YouTube. If you're not there, I'll put the link here so you can subscribe for alerts, and we're going to go down the list tonight. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, Aline trying to throw me under the bus. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. You can't throw me under the bus. They go take that. They go soundbite that, bro. They go soundbite that, Mullins, man.
Soundbite you, man.
They gonna soundbite it and throw me under the bus. But Islam family, I see y'all tonight. Peace and love. Let me get out of here. Oh, let me see if I can. Oh, I didn't even know I could do this.
You can do what?
I didn't know that I could invite people in. Let me see if I can invite. Let me see. Well, see, I didn't know I could do this. Let me see something. All right, I don't know how to do it. I was ready to say I can invite somebody to think that's a good idea. If I can get a fair person in here. You know what I mean? Let me see. Bam. I can't invite nobody in. All right, peace and love, family.